Wednesday, and welcome back to Creative Chat Cafe, the talk show hangout that gives you guidance, inspiration, and also provide you results for all your marketing, business development, and leadership needs. And today, I'm really excited to spend this 30 minutes with you, and I am your host, Zef Zan, and I'm looking forward to have a great session with my two other ladies here. So you can actually go to www.entrepreneurs.soar.com right here under my lower third right here and watch the show every Wednesday. It's 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and watch the show. So I want to first welcome my co-host right here. These ladies, we've been working at it here for a little bit, but I want to introduce you to my co-host Tina Kadish, and also my guest for the day, Sarah Bailey. So ladies, let's get started. Why don't Tina, you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, hi. Thank you, Zef. It's a pleasure to be back on your Creative Chat Cafe. And my name is Tina Kadish, and and I am from Life is Ideal. I help you to live a life abundantly and healthy.
Thank you very much, Tina. Thank you. We also have our guest today is Sarah Bailey. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Great audience today. All right, I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for having me, Zef. I have two websites, sarahdbailey.com, and that's a site for network marketers. And I also have a new site called teamfullestlife.com, where we help people live life to the fullest now, not wait until the end of their lives we'll talk about that later, but to live life fully and abundantly now.
Thank you so much. So folks, what are we talking today? We actually have a topic of leadership, and we're going to do three things today. The first thing we're going to do is, just have a general conversation and discussion about the topic, which is what is the primary focus of a leader. So if you're a leader and you might want to hang out a little bit more with us and see what we have to talk about. And the second part of the show, we always give you tips, ideas of what you can do to kind of do this. And third of all, we have an inspirational story today, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So moving forward, talking about what is the primary focus of a leader. As we all know, leadership affects us on a day-to-day basis, and we're often called upon it, whether we're involved in leading in business or our families or even community projects, just day-to-day stuff, simple stuff like even organizing a dinner or carpool or household. Everyone has a leadership role. Whether you think you're a leader or not, we all become leaders from time to time. Whether it's a small part or not, we are called upon it from time to time. So one thing is we are each thrust into different leadership roles again and again throughout our entire lives. Believe me, from raising our kids, to the community that we serve. Leadership is a key thing in our lives. So, Tina, what do you think about that?
Well, what I believe is that leadership is really an action that you take that's selfless. You really don't think about yourself. It's really having that vision. What you see out there, and guiding. The guidance is key. Is how will you guide? Having that vision, but how will you direct?
It's a big responsibility, isn't it?
It definitely is. And again, it's not about you. It's really a selfless action.
Very true. Very true. And I agree about the selfless action. And since every individual, as we all know it, is different, that naturally means that each leader, his or her focus will vary from person to person. And let me ask you this, right, Tina? Because sometimes some people may choose to focus on results. Some people may choose to focus on money. Some people just love service, and they serve their people and community. So what do you think about what's a typical primary focus for a leader? What do you see out there?
Well, for me, what is important is goal setting, is really
Mm,
creating your weekly, daily goals, actually, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly goals, is very important. So I
yeah,
know that I myself, I create a schedule, what I'm going to do on Sunday nights for the week ahead. So that's just a task. But I'll
yeah,
also do weekly goals, and I'll do the monthly, the yearly goals, and really having SMART goals. SMART goals meaning
yeah.
specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. Really
That's
having a day.
important.
Yes, it's very
Being
important.
realistic.
It is, and it needs to be realistic, and they change. So you always are setting goals. It's very important. So for me, the focus is really creating those goals and planning those,
Yeah.
those tasks that you do. So in line with the vision, goal setting is really the tactical, but
Hmm.
the vision is really the more the strategic. So yearly goals would be more strategic, in my opinion.
It's very, it really is important that, like you said, be strategic about the goals and got to be smart about them. That's, I think, one of the key things that leaders should understand from the beginning, and we learn that in the process of being strategic on a day-to-day basis, So, Sarah, I know your story, and as leaders, we're often challenged, and I think especially leaders with integrity are often challenged, the most tested. And I know your story a little bit, but the beauty of it is, I've always looked upon you about how you went through your journey with this situation. But I have one question to ask you. How do you maintain a focus in your business in the midst of adversity? Because, like I said earlier, we as leaders are often tested, and especially the good leaders. So, how do you maintain a focus in your business in the midst of all these challenges?
I think it might vary a little bit for different people, but it's going to
Mm,
depend on the adversity that you're facing. For me,
yeah,
it was going through cancer treatments. It's no secret, so I don't care
yeah.
if people know.
Hmm.
But really, the main thing, you got to take care of yourself, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing, right?
Yeah,
Can't, you
absolutely.
can't get out of bed. You can't do anything. So taking care
True.
of yourself, you got to know what's most important to you. Make sure you take care of yourself or those around you, or whoever might be going through the challenge at the time. You want to make sure you really put a focus on them. But for your business, you got to find what's most important to you in your business to have the results that you're looking to get.
Mm,
So it's going to depend on what business people are in, right? But
mhm,
bottom line, what do people really need to do to be able to get their
mhm,
basic results? And in my business, it's a recruiting business. So what can I do, or how can I talk to my most qualified prospects? Not just going out there and talking to anybody
yeah.
about business and recruiting anybody, but I was at a point where I couldn't swallow. I had blisters in my mouth, and in my throat was all sunburned from the radiation. So I physically could not talk. Where I used to talk 8 hours a day, now I could only talk like 5 to 10 minutes at a time. So I had
Wow.
really, for me, through the adversity I was facing, is who can I talk to that's most qualified? And I think for other people who are in a similar home business or a networking business, you just got to zero in on what is critical and crucial for you to keep moving forward in your business.
Mm.
And I agree so true, because one of the things is that I think that's what leaders do. You step up in your game, and especially when you're going through challenges in life, because we all know, our lives are not beds of roses, and we actually are going to be tested and challenged on a day-to-day
Yeah,
basis.
yeah,
But as leaders, whether you are successful or not, it depends on how on the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis. And I think part of what you just mentioned there is you shifted your focus on your decision making right from the start. When you go through your challenge, you decide from that day one that this is what's going to happen regardless if I'm being challenged or not. And thank you for sharing that.
yeah. So you move forward and you focus on what you have to do, but you still have to take care of yourself. And also the other big thing is to look for the lesson in the adversity. So don't
Mm.
ask, why me? Why am I going through this? But instead, what can I learn from this? Because sometimes we get, whether you pray to God or whatever higher power, sometimes they have to smack you a little bit and say, teach you. So you're going to learn this lesson one way or another. So I'm just going to slap you with a little adversity, and then now I'll have your attention, and you can finally learn what you're supposed to learn, because you didn't learn it the first time I tried to show you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great point. Great point. So, it's true. And one of the big things I think for you audience out there, you must be wondering, what should we focus on as leaders? What should be our primary focus? So here's where we're going to give you some tips about how, I wouldn't say how you should do it, but I think as business owners and business leaders in our own industries and backgrounds and our community and organizations, between Sarah, me, and Tina, I think we have some tips for you people out there, folks who are watching the show, some tips about what your focus as a leader should be. Tina, why don't you start off? I know you've got some great tips about what a leader should be focusing primarily on.
Okay, yes. In line with the goal setting that I talked about previously, you want to write things down every day, a to-do list. I know that it helps me to keep focused, and it helps me to feel a sense of accomplishment when I can check things off.
Can you repeat that? Let them hear what you said, because that's a great point. Here you go. One more time.
Okay. You want to write them down, every task.
Write them down.
Daily.
Down.
Yes, because we can't remember what's in our head, and
Absolutely.
You really want to write it down. And for me, it's really helped because the action of writing it down really helps me get that focus. And when I check them off, it really makes me feel good, fulfilling, and I really do feel like I've accomplished a lot during that day. And you can go back, and I put it on my Google Calendar, in my iPhone, I have the calendar, and I have a note section. So I write things down every day, and that really helps me to keep focused.
That's great, and I think you bring a great point, because I'm sure as leaders, we have so many things on our head, and sometimes we're like, we get crickets too. Right? So you're wondering, sometimes, where our mental power go, because we do forget. So that's a great tip. Write down. Write down.
Write it down.
So you won't
write it down.
So, and Sarah, what about you? Being a leader in your business, what do you focus on? What's important to you?
Well, Zef, I totally agree with Tina and you that it's so important to write things down. Especially the night before. If you could write something down the night before, what you want to do the next day. And then when you get up that next day, make sure you do your two most important things. Just pick two things that you want to get done that day, and no matter what, do them. And if possible, do them before 11 o'clock in the morning. That way, if your whole day gets away from you, which happens to all of us, at least at the end of the day, you can look back and say, well, at least I got those two most important things done. I didn't get the 50 other things done, but I got the two main ones done, and then that will help you sleep better at night.
Very true. Very true. And I think at times what people forget doing is actually focusing on like 2 to 3 things instead of the whole year.
That's true. Yes.
I mean, your brain can only function only with limitations, So don't think that you can accomplish everything. Little teeny bits will help. For me, I actually have 2 tips. I think as leaders, what we should focus on, 2 very important things. This is not original, because it's something that I've learned from other people, from my other mentors in life and business. One great thing I think a leader should be focusing on is lead by example. And I always say treat others right and treat them like the way you want to be treated. Of course, some of us don't care that you get treated badly, you know what I'm saying? And I really don't, I'm not talking to you guys out there, but I'm just saying that, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I think most people, on average, love to be treated well. Am I right, ladies?
That's
yes,
right.
Yes. Definitely.
Absolutely. And some, and one of the things, and I think, sometimes it doesn't apply to people because we all are different people. We all have different standards. Some people just have higher standards than others. Our standard operating procedures is just different. But one great example that I say lead by example is this might be very little for you folks out there, the 21st century generation, but we can talk about smartphones, right? Sometimes we just don't know what our boundaries are, and we're talking about, if we're leading by example, if you don't want your co-workers or employees to be doing this, like for instance, if you don't like people to bring phones or taking, messages on your phones while you're in a meeting, then you don't do it, right,
Exactly.
Tina?
Exactly.
Right, right.
It is. It's
Yeah,
so true.
so that's what I mean by lead by example, and I think we leaders, it's so often we forget that because we move like the speed of light sometimes, we think we don't, but sometimes we do, and we have like 200 things in our hand, but we don't realize what we're doing may be affecting our coworkers or employees. And the second of all, I think, and I think this is a very, very important thing. This is what I learned very early on. Focus on stewardship and not dictatorship, because
Absolutely.
we want to provide guidance because true leadership doesn't focus on dictatorship, because it does not take away an individual's freedom of choice, accountability, or responsibility. And I think good and successful leaders often serve, other people's needs. And because I think this develops character, integrate discipline, and all that great stuff. What do you think about that, Tina? Because I know you two, you're in the business of stewardship. You coach other people. Do you think that we react better to guidance rather than, sure, do this?
No, I definitely agree with you. I know that one of the things with my team and leading by example, and you're teaching your team, what you're doing. So if you are having the bad habits, your team is going to have the bad habits. So it's all about duplication. How are you going to be leading by example? What are you duplicating to your team? Because they are watching you all the time. So that's very important is the leading by example. The serving, giving to others is very important to me as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Sarah, you actually experience this in your organization too, where it's all about, you helping other people, you offering stewardship. You actually take them from not having a business to establishing a business. So it takes a lot of stewardship. Take them by their hands and guide them. It's not really because I don't really believe in the business of telling other people what to do, hey, you go do this, because I think people react negatively to it, and I think your business have that kind of stewardship also.
Oh, we completely. It's about pulling people up and guiding them and directing them, not, like you said, not telling them what to do, but guiding them, leading by example. And also, I think some of the best leaders are those who create other leaders. They're not creating followers, they're creating leaders. And that's what we strive to do too.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Creating other leaders.
Leaders, not followers.
Exactly. And that's a great point. Creating other leaders.
Yes.
That's very inspiring. And talking about inspiring, this is what I would love to do next, Sarah's got a great story of inspiration, because I think, what she went through with her cancer journey will probably inspire you guys out there. And I think as a leader, I thought it would be great for her to tell you guys the story, so that, if there's any other leaders that probably have or are experiencing something similar, you could probably take something from it. So Sarah, let me tell you this, you've actually inspired me, through your journey with cancer. And if you don't mind, share it with our audience, because I think as a leader in your business going through that challenge, there'll be some hard times, there are days that you don't want to get out of bed, but, because you're working with people, that stewardship, you're actually saying, hey, if I don't get up today, or if I'm having a negative, I wanted to say negative reaction, but like a negative attitude, it's not going to help other people. So if you don't mind sharing, I'm sure our folks out there would love to hear your story.
Okay, sure. So it was about a year and a half ago. I went in for a simple surgery to remove a cyst from my neck. They just thought it was a harmless thing. So it wasn't until we were in surgery that the doctor found cancer. And I'm just going to make it a really short story, but so they found a tumor. So they removed a bunch of lymph nodes, 38 lymph nodes. They took out salivary glands. They took out part of the back of my tongue, like to biopsy, and took out a tonsil. And so I was a little uncomfortable. After
I bet. Anybody would be uncomfortable. Hello.
Yeah. Tonsils taken out as an adult is just a miserable experience. So, wow. But 6 weeks after that, we started going through daily radiation treatments to my neck, and they didn't know where the primary source was, so they just radiated everything around here. And every day for 6 weeks, yes, I went for the treatments. And and during this journey, I thought, okay, what is my lesson here? I never said why me, poor me. And I found when people offered me sympathy, I didn't want it. You know how if you're really upset about something and you're crying about something, you get choked up, you get that frog in your throat. Well, I was already swollen in my neck, so I physically couldn't handle it to get emotional. I couldn't handle. I had to deal with it later. And during I got blisters in my throat and blisters on my tongue, so it's hard to eat or drink or swallow, and I had a feeding tube put in. And every day on Facebook, I kept every week I did like a radiation update and what I was going through, because people were asking me, what are you feeling? What's it like? And so I would post an update and my weight and everything, and then I would put something inspirational. What am I learning? What is God teaching me through this journey? And how can I help other people and reach out and inspire other people through my story? I really felt led to be open about it on Facebook so other people could learn. My husband's a very private person, so it was difficult for him that I was so open about it. But I actually, if anybody wants it, it has become a journal, a Facebook journal during that journey. And I've printed it off. It's in a Word document. So if anybody wants to read that, it might inspire some people and help them go through challenges, whether it's cancer or a different health issue. Yeah, so I've passed it out to a few people. I've also co-authored a book and shared my story in a book.
Congratulations!
Thank you, but it's not tooting my own horn. I just want to help people. So the big thing that got me through, and this is what's really, really important for people to understand, no matter what they're going through. I'm not on a soapbox, but this is what helped me, is not to focus on the health you want, not the illness you don't. Because the law of attraction tells us whatever we put out is what we're going to draw back to us, good or bad. Same thing in business. So in business, if we think, why am I not able to recruit anybody? Why don't I have any sales? Why does this keep happening to me? Well, it's going to keep happening to you, and you're going to keep not having sales, and you're going to keep not recruiting people, because that's where your focus is. But if your focus is, I'm doing this, I'm going to get there, I will build a big team, I will do this, I will have this number of sales. If you know with certainty that you will get those results, then those are the results that will come to you. So again, when people were offering me sympathy, I didn't want it, because then it made me focus on feeling yucky and ill and sick, and I didn't want to feel more of that. It got me choked up. So I wanted somebody to say, kick cancer's ass. And I'm like, I can do that.
That's what we need. Absolutely.
But anyway, that's what I wanted. I wanted words of encouragement, and that's what I want to offer people too. So when I see other people go through struggles and health issues, then I will encourage them in that way. I won't offer sympathy, because I know how damaging it can be. Even though people are meaning well, it isn't always that way. So I don't want to run on too long, but this last point I want to make is that whatever obstacles we face or you face, think of it as like a big, ugly pile of yuck in the middle of a road, right? On your journey through life, your journey through business, your business path, business, your success journey is not like this, right? It goes like this, to get up there. So you have obstacles along the way. And so you have this big mess. For me, it was cancer. And the way I looked at it was, okay, so am I going to pick up my baseball bat and go home and turn around and go back and cry to mommy? Am I going to find a way around it, over it, or am I going to grab the bull by the horns and just charge right through it? And that's that was the image that I had going through that. And that's what I want. That's what I tell my team and other people that I speak to about this, is just find a way to charge right through it. You don't have to be at the top performance of your game. I mean, I could only talk 15 minutes a day. I was still able to recruit one person a week in my business, doing that by only talking, a few minutes a day, because I had passion, I had purpose, I knew where I wanted to go in my business, and I was talking to only the most qualified people. So in your journey, in your business, if you have passion and you have purpose and you lead with purpose and intention like that, you can accomplish anything, but if you have weak posture, I don't know if I can, and the law of attraction says you're just going to attract more weakness, you don't want that. So stay strong and have power and purpose. And okay, I'm gonna stop talking now.
That's a great point. Thank you for sharing that. That's really a great point. And that's what leaders do. We don't focus on the little things, we focus on the big things. We focus on what can be, what could be, or could be done, and what, all the other negative stuff, we just don't pay attention to them. Anyways, we're at the end of the show, folks, and I just wanted to kind of, say thank you to both Tina and Sarah for doing such a great job. Yay, ladies! Thank you so much. But before we go, as usual, I just want to take this opportunity to kind of share with everybody, where you can get information about the show and where you should be watching the show or can watch the show. So I'm going to quickly show you on the video here, and take a look here at where you can actually go and watch Creative Chat Cafe and follow us on social media. So you can go to entrepreneurs.soar.com and you can go to the Watch Hangouts tab and Creative Chat Cafe. You will see all our shows there in a blog format. And then you can also go to our YouTube channel, Entrepreneurs.Soar, and then you have all the Creative Chat Cafe here, and of course all the other videos that we have. And we would really, really like it if you could join us in our Google Plus community, Creative Chat Cafe, where we post your conversations, more conversations where, our hosts, our co-hosts and guests will come in and, interact too. So, quickly before we go, ladies, if you, Tina, and Sarah could actually just, tell our folks if they wanted to contact you, how they would do that. Tina?
Okay. Well, my website is www.lifeisideal.com, and my email is tina@lifeisideal.com. I can be reached there, and that's really about it. I also have a Facebook page. I also have a Facebook business page
By
as
the
well.
same name?
Yes, Life is Ideal.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sarah, go ahead. Let's have our audience have it.
Well, my main website is SarahDBailey.com, SARAHD like in David, BAILEY.com. You can email me either at sarah@sarahdbailey.com or at sarahbaileymarketing@gmail.com. And I also am on Facebook as well. My main page where I like to connect with people is on my personal page, and that's Sarah Dickinson Bailey. And Dickinson is Dickinson. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This has been a great show, and truly, Sarah, thank you for inspiring us with your story, because I know not everybody, share that sentiment where where you tell your story and with a hope to inspire others. So before we go, so thank you, and let's raise our mugs, ladies, and looking forward to the next Creative Chat Cafe. Until then, have a creative and productive day, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.